And here we are. This is the Cinema Nine Podcast. You are now tuned in, live, uncensored, raw, dedicated to you 24/7. Actually, it's not true at all. We only do about an hour, 20 minutes a week, although sometimes we post things, and those are included in our hourly totals. But that doesn't matter. Welcome in. Cinema Nine Pod. I'm Michael Govier, along with my two hosts, my dear friends, Eric Branstrom and Travis Roy. Travis! And I'm already hearing myself. This is fucking unreal. Why? I know we're live, but god damn it.
Did you check and make sure that you had your echo?
Of course I did. I do this all day long. God damn it.
He ran that through that with us right before we got on.
All right, Travis, tell us how you are. I'll mute myself. Tell us how you are.
I am doing well. I am recovering from Thanksgiving dinner and all that. It wasn't too intense. It was pretty low key, around here. My dad had surgery, so mostly just hung out with him and helped him out. So it was a nice little holiday.
Nice little Saturday.
Yeah.
Eric, are those headphones you use? Are they headphones or just a headset?
That is just a headset.
That is not. You don't use those earphones, do you?
I think we found the culprit.
I knew it. I fucking knew it. We're live.
We can edit this out when we actually.
Yeah, we will edit this out. We are live, so there's one person watching. Hi, one person. We're just trying to figure out some audio issues. Eric, there is a button down there on Cam Mic where you can change your headphones, and maybe the name of that headphones will come up. If you go to audio in the settings where it says speaker, I know this is entertaining for the one person watching.
Okay, I see it.
Okay, so you click on speaker, and is the name of your headset coming up?
It is.
If you click on that, that should bring your audio through the headset.
Check. This is E. Albert Bansom. How you do there?
Let me talk now. Hey. I don't hear myself. Hey.
Check. Monkey check.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. I can hear you.
Hey, all right. So we're back on. Oh, it's Chad. Okay, great. Take your time, says Chad. Thank God. It's just Chad. If anybody watches this in perpetuity, which it will be because it's live. So Matt Wilson, if you started watching the beginning of this, we're sorry.
Yeah, the two people that watch us. All right, let's and we'll start over in 5, 4, 3.
You're listening to the Cinema 9 Podcast. It's a pleasure to have you aboard. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in. It's an exciting night here. It's post-Thanksgiving. We're doing a Friday show. It's a little different than usual, but, holidays and whatnot, things happen in society, and we're glad to have you here for the Cinema 9 Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, can I introduce you to my dear co-host, longtime friends of mine, and outstanding podcasters in their own right, Travis Roy, Eric Branstrom. Travis, how is it going in Brighton tonight?
I'm coming to you live from Brighton, Michigan. I am sitting in my home. I'm petting my dog. I'm talking to you through a new laptop purchased through Black Friday. I hung out in this parking lot for a half an hour until someone came out and stuffed it through my window like it was a drug deal. It was cool. So it's been a good day.
Is that true?
That's 100% true.
Have you ever stood in line for a Black Friday deal?
Fuck no. And I had no intention of doing it today. I actually was gonna pick it up on Monday, but then there was this whole thing where it was out of stock, and then they sent me the thing today saying, "Oh, we got it in." I'm like, you know what? I don't want to deal with any. I wasn't even gonna leave the house today, but I'm like, I'm not gonna risk it getting given to someone else or something. So I went and hung out in a parking lot and listened to the new Chris Stapleton album for a little bit, and there we go.
Hey, all right. Well, hey, we appreciate you making this purchase, not only for your own life, but to improve your podcasting abilities as well. So it can only help the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Brand new laptop.
It's all about the pod. I live for the pod.
It is. Yeah, this is all that matters. Matt Williams chiming in. He loves Demolition Man. He's really excited. It's good to see you, Matt. Pleasure to have you aboard as always. We're going to be well. We'll be very well. Be well, Eric Branstrom. How you doing in Griffith, Indiana? You smelling that Yankee candle over there?
Mellow greetings, gentlemen. Happy Thanksgiving. I want to thank our listeners for supporting us for our nearly 34 episodes. We come a long way, baby. We love you. We owe you everything, and we are here for you. So let's talk movies.
Wow. Okay. Very impressive. Well, we're going to talk about Demolition Man, a shoot-'em-up thriller from 1993, action-packed, a lot of violence. Some blood. Is there blood in this movie?
Big body count. I think 72 dead.
Really? I had to think about it because there's not really a lot of blood, but there's a lot of dead people now that you mention it.
Well, if you count all the cryo prisoners that don't make it, are they dead?
Mostly it's just the pacifists that are not the pacifists, but the Morlocks that are underground. Thanks to John Spartan coming, he ends up having 20 of them killed.
Well, also when Simon Phoenix shows up and all the gentle Eloys also like, hey, how you doing today? Oh, you're shooting me in the face.
Yeah, we'll talk about Demolition Man momentarily. Of course, we got to give you our quarantine viewing picks every week. We come at you, special edition, uncensored. Travis Roy, it's post-Thanksgiving. It's Friday night. What have you been watching?
Well, Mike, I've been watching some movies. I did watch some Thanksgiving fare last night. I watched Thanksgiving from 2009. The tagline is "Gobble Gobble, Motherfucker." It lived up to exactly what I wanted it to be. There's many sequels I now know what I'll watch like every Thanksgiving for the next 2 or 3 years, so that was cool. I revisited Short Circuit from 1986, which I'd seen. I grew up on Short Circuit 2. I watched Short Circuit 2 a million times. I can probably recite that movie to you. And I, of course, had seen Short Circuit 1, but it'd been many, many years. And I revisited that, and I still feel like the sequel is superior. One of those rare occasions. I stand by that. I watched I, Tonya, which is a weird biography. There's some strong performances in it, but it didn't quite grab me. Eric, I watched Tesla, and when it started, I'm like, holy shit, the casting in this movie is incredible. I mean, Kyle MacLachlan as Edison, perfect casting. Right. We get to the ice cream scene later, no spoilers, but I'm like, this is interesting. I turned this movie off with 11 minutes left to go.
Oh,
I've never turned off a movie that late in the game before, but by the time I got to the Tears for Fears scene, which again, no spoilers, but there's some contemporary music going on there, I was like, what is this happy horse shit? Why am I still I was just dutifully trying to finish it. I'm just like, okay, I'm done.
Was there any Creed on the soundtrack?
It would have improved the movie. No, there was no Creed. I love Tears for Fears, but no. Of
course, who doesn't love Tears for Fears? If you don't like Tears for Fears, you don't belong on this podcast.
Everybody out. I watched this movie called 99 Homes from 2014. You guys ever hear of this movie?
Awesome movie.
This was really good. I had not heard a thing about it. Michael Shannon stars as this kind of ruthless, but you kind of sympathize. He's just a businessman in a way, person that kicks people out of their homes and turns those homes over and makes the money from them. And Andrew Garfield plays a young man, a father who lives with his mother. It's a 3-generation thing. It's the house he grew up in. He gets kicked out of it. And he can't by Michael Shannon, can't find work, and he goes to work for Michael Shannon. Michael Shannon starts making him rich, and it's just one of these movies. And I was kind of there's moments where I'm like, did they skip a scene? Why am I confused right now? So I thought it was kind of there's some editing issues, but overall, the impact by the end of this movie it's a powerful film, and it really should get more respect or notice. I mean, I really had not heard a thing about it. And the last one, the one I'm going to recommend the most. I watched this movie last night because I'd heard some Oscar buzz built around it. I'm not a huge documentary guy, but I do like animals. Last night
I know where this is going.
I wept my way. Yeah, I wept my way through My Octopus Teacher last night. It's it starts and I'm like, it's got some melodrama to it. There's a lot of slow-mo going on. But it's a powerful film experience. I would strongly recommend it to anybody. It's a really powerful movie. It's really, I don't want to just give it away, but I mean, you'll feel differently about nature after you watch this movie, and that's one of the most amazing things about nature documentaries that they can do is, I mean, I think there's an argument that can be made that we don't access nature if we don't care about it because we end up watching nature through screens instead or something. There's, I've heard that kind of argument, but this movie is really something special, and I really recommend it.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I can respect that. I love animals. I love nature. So maybe I'll give it a chance someday. All right, Eric Branstrom, what have you been watching over there? I mean, it's Thanksgiving. You got any Thanksgiving movies on tap?
Dude, I watched Christmas Chronicles 2 with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. I loved it. I'm an unabashed, unironic fan of this series. They're generally well made, cozy, have great messages for kids. I want one every year. I don't care what anyone says. I'm a fan. Part 2, just as good as the original.
I'm looking forward to it. I was waiting for today before I watch any Christmas movies. I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch The Happiest Season. I'm going to watch all that shit now. That's actually
Jingle Jangle.
Bring it on. I don't give a fuck. Kramer versus Kramer. I haven't taken a look at it in like 20 years. Still a fantastic character study, gorgeously written and acted. There's this scene where Dustin Hoffman, after he's been taking care of his son on his own for like a year or so, and his wife comes back into the picture and wants, all of a sudden she wants custody, and they just quietly cut to Dustin Hoffman cradling his son while he's sleeping. There's no dialogue. I'm getting choked up. But it's just this pieta, this sweet scene that lasts like a minute, and he's just cradling his son, and you can see how much he's changed and how the thought of him being taken away from him at this point is just crippling. Remarkable storytelling. I was a fucking mess. The pillow was soaked with emotion. So Kramer versus Kramer definitely holds up. After that, it was documentary fest over here. It was. I watched like 8 documentaries. There's a documentary about Pauline Kael, like the most celebrated film critic of all time, probably the most subjective as well. She could not have cared less about just like treating so-called like important films as like sacrosanct. Like she called Shoah, like the 9-part documentary, quote unquote, boring, and didn't care about the backlash she got about it. So, you know, it was a well-made movie, fun to watch, and it posed like the question about where the lines of commerce and art become blurred. I recommend it. Amazon Prime. Belushi, the biopic on Showtime. I checked it out. It's one of those like Wikipedia movies, no energy, lacks any type of like profundity or like regarding self-destruction or drug addiction. I was disappointed. It was like a paint by numbers biography.
My friend, if you want to sink your teeth into John Belushi, have you ever read Wired?
Yeah, Bob Woodward.
Yeah, Bob Woodward.
Fucking awesome. Terrible
So
film.
good.
Even with Michael Chiklis doing his best, but the film
I
wasn't
didn't
there.
even know there was a movie.
Yeah, there's a movie that got lambasted, but what a fucking biography.
The book is amazing.
Top recommendation of the week, gentlemen, is the Gordon Lightfoot, If You Could Read My Mind documentary. It's on Amazon Prime. Beautiful, tender portrait of an intensely talented poet. Maybe culturally not as celebrated here in America, but, you know, Canadians fucking love him. Told densely, incredible footage, truly emotional moments, beautiful storytelling, great documentary.
I can't wait to watch it. It's top of my list. It moved up my list as soon as he told me about it. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I can't wait. Hey, Derek Fern loves Die Hard, everybody. Cool. Hi, Derek. All right. So this week, I wanted to get the record straight. I told these guys the other day, I don't keep a list of all the films I watch, and I've been trying to do it by heart. And then I start the show, and I get so fired up, somebody says something, and I just kind of lose. It happens. You know, if you ever done a live show, you know, it happens. So this time, I followed Travis's rules, just like Travis keeps a nice list. It's very impressive. This list goes way back, by the way.
Yeah.
I was quite impressed by that. So let's catch up on a few. When Chad was on the show, I forgot to mention this. I watched this movie called Edge of Darkness. Has anyone ever seen this?
Is this a Mel Gibson picture? Yeah. I turned it off.
Oh, you turned it off?
I turned it off.
Okay. All right. Well,
not enough Tears for Fears.
Brian Helgeland picture. What did you think, Mike? Because it got pretty monotonous for me. Did you like it?
I thought it did get a bit monotonous. It was like Comeback Gibson 2010.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like Conspiracy Theory 2.
I mean, he was great. Like I stayed only because he's so just mesmerizing as an actor. You can't take your eyes off him. But after a while, I had to shut it down. I was like, where are we going with the story? I
don't blame you for that. I really don't. Otherwise, yeah. So I also watched He Won't Get Far on Foot.
Oh, fuck yes.
Finally watched that. Gus Van Sant.
Rooney Mara. Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill. Great. Jonah Hill's outstanding in this movie.
Kim Gordon.
Yes.
Sonic Youth.
Sonic Youth, yeah. Jack Black. Yeah. In a gut-wrenching scene from Jack Black, by the way. I won't spoil anything, but boy, Jack Black made me cry. I was kind of surprised by that. Really good film. I saw Grumpier Old Men. That movie's dumb, Travis. That movie's so dumb.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't say it was like, you know. I mean, the first one objectively a great movie. The second one, you know. I mean, you have to love the first one and maybe grow up on it to really revere it.
Were they even grumpier, or was it just like that? Just arbitrary title.
They were actually less grumpy because they were more friends in this one. So, but like I don't know how that translates into like a sequel. Like less grumpy men. Like it doesn't work.
How does Sophia Loren look like at like 70, Michael?
Quite attractive, beautiful woman. Always will be.
Mr. Skin checking in.
No, nothing there. Actually, Jack Lemmon looked really good. I thought Walter Matthau looked kind of old.
Mr. Skin checking in.
Oh, you know it. That would be Mrs. Skin or Ms. Skin. I don't know how that works.
Ms. Skin.
Guys, if you've never seen it, I finally saw Captain Phillips. God damn it, this movie is fantastic.
So good.
It is so good.
Amazing.
I can't believe it. I thought it was gonna be a paint by numbers, like, hey, like Derek says, like a docudrama paint by numbers. It wasn't.
Well, Paul Greengrass. I mean,
really
that guy knows how to fucking tell a story. I mean, he puts you right in the captain's chair, literally.
Wow. There's one scene Tom Hanks does. I have never seen this done on film, almost rarely, and I didn't know he had it in him still. I thought he kind of was like, I'm kind of mailing it in, late career. I'm just doing like historia dramas, and
he's still doing good stuff.
But he has it still. At least in 2013, he did. It was wow. I was amazed. That was really good. I saw Beautiful Boy. This isn't fun. It's not a fun film to watch. Steve Carell, Timothy Chalamet. Yeah. It's tough. It's about drug addiction, but it is one of the most honest portrayals I've ever seen in a drama in recent memory. It's really good. It's not fun, but if you have any history with it and you know anything about it, you'd be like, wow, they finally did it right. This is really well done. So kudos to them on that. I went back and watched Straight Outta Compton because I hadn't watched it since I saw it in the theater. And it was actually a little better. I remember ripping it when I saw it in the theater. It was like it was a Wikipedia article movie, essentially. Like, oh, here's this, and here's this, and here's this. Right. But I kind of enjoyed it on the second watch, which is odd.
I liked it on the first. I thought I really liked it. I don't know what everyone's issue is. I mean, I thought they told the story honestly, like Paul Giamatti. What's his name? Ice Cube's son. Terrific fucking job right out of the gate.
O'Shea Jackson.
I never caught it. Just never really been a fan.
It's casted well, but in terms of like playing it out, it's like, okay, yep, I remember that. Yep, I remember 7th grade. Yep, I remember 8th grade.
Guy played Eazy-E was really fucking good. I haven't really seen him since.
Yeah. Oh, the casting's great, no doubt about it. And we were talking about Brie Olson in our chat, in our private text thread. We were talking about Brie Olson this week, and so I went and watched. Beautiful woman. I watched Captain Marvel for the first time. I really liked it. I thought it was outstanding. I really did. It's not paint by numbers, Derek.
Yeah, go on. What else did you like about it, Mike? Because I'll sit this one out.
Well, spoiler alert, obviously, but Travis, you agree with me on this. I like the way that, first off, Ben Mendelsohn wasn't who you thought he was. And it's not what you think it is. So it's not paint by numbers. They switch it around, and she doesn't know what's really going on.
Yeah, you don't know what's happening as the movie begins. Like, it's not like, hey, here's an origin. Like, you're like, what is happening? You have to like kind of like figure the movie out as it goes along. There's plenty of nostalgia there, but it doesn't lean on the nostalgia. And I find her arc like emotionally moving. When she gets up, that scene whenever it shows her get up and all those different moments in her life. Right now, looking at them, goosebumps, just thinking about it.
I wish I would have seen it in succession
I saw it in theaters. I was like real close. It was great.
Yeah, I think we were living together, and we probably weren't talking much. I remember when it came out. So
let's tell people about that. Let's tell about the people about that time in our friendship.
Yeah, that was good. Hey, we're still friends. All right. So Short Term 12 is a beautiful movie, by the way.
Great movie.
Pre-Oscar, Rami Malek. It's just really good. Lakeith Stanfield, one of his first roles.
Great actor.
That.
Yeah, you do. You would love it. I watched the Vacation, not remake. It's a continuation. The 2015 Ed Helms Vacation. I love it. It's fucking hilarious.
I loved it, dude.
Yes.
I thought it was so funny, and I was so disappointed that everyone just fucking hated on it because I thought it was so funny.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, I'm so glad you said that. It's directed by John Francis Daley, who I love. I like the work he does, Freaks and Geeks and all that stuff. And
it's written by Lord and Miller, right?
Is it?
I'm pretty sure.
I thought they wrote and directed it, but it's they did a double team direction.
Oh, maybe I just got them confused because it's a double team thing. Never mind.
I know John Francis Daley. I didn't know the other guy's name, but you could double check on that. Anyways, I know Eric. I know it's sacrilege. I love Vacation. We grew up on Vacation. It's legendary. It is. I've quoted it my whole life, but this was a continuation. It was not a remake. And they actually make fun of themselves about it in the movie, which is just, that's the best. It's meta. So I would, if you skipped it in 2015, go back. Christina Applegate, Ed Helms, Good times.
I'm sorry, they wrote Spider-Man: Homecoming. That's where I got him. It wasn't.
Oh, is that what they wrote?
Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
Yeah, I got him confused.
I didn't know that. Oh yeah, wow! I forgot about that. So anyway, yeah, and also Chris Hemsworth with the great little like co-starring role. It's very funny. And then lastly, I tried to watch Inherent Vice again since I left the theater with like 10 minutes to go.
What a fucking
couldn't get through it.
Why?
I turned it off after 15 minutes.
Yeah,
I don't blame you. It's awful.
It just made me feel like shit.
Why is it so bad? I mean, like, what?
Is it the feelings I have that are associated with it?
No,
that I
it's
can't
boring. It's fucking boring.
It's boring. That's the crime that this movie commits. I mean, it's fucking dull as shit. And I don't care how well shot it is and how many great actors you pack in that movie. If there's just nothing happening, really, it's like Martin Short. I love you. The scene is hilarious, but like, what is it? What function does it serve? What is happening? No thanks.
I'll never give it another chance. Fuck that movie.
I don't think I will either.
I completely agree with you. That's a good call. Oh, by the way, I had to get a couple of these in because this is a couple-week backlog. I watched Life is a House. Hadn't watched it in a couple of years. I cried a lot.
One of the greatest movies of all time.
It doesn't get old. It hasn't faded in time. If anything, it makes me
Christensen,
cry
great
more.
blowjob scene.
Mary Steenburgen, a beautiful woman at any age.
So gorgeous.
Gosh, she's so beautiful.
Kevin Kline, I mean, like, I'm a huge fan, but that movie, like, if I had to pick one Kevin Kline movie to watch for the rest of my life, he won the SAG award for it, though.
Great. God bless.
Yeah,
I thought that was a complete snub.
No, he won.
That's good enough. That's better than Oscar for me.
Really is,
His peers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he brought everything. Physical act, he lost weight and he did everything for the part.
It's fucking powerful.
The older you get, the better it will just be. Trust me. That's my opinion. And then I blew through all like the late Marvel movies. Like I said, I watched Captain Marvel. I watched Endgame since the first time I'd watched Endgame in the theater. And I liked it more than I liked it when I was in the theater. Not that great. Anyways, I also watched Almost Heroes. Never seen that with Chris Farley. That was trash. I'd never seen it, and it was still trash. And then I watched a little bit of I got in a Kevin Kline mood, so I watched The Big Chill. I hadn't watched The Big Chill in about 15 years. And I like it. I like movies like that where like friends come together. I can't help myself. I'm sorry. It's all right. You can rip the sound. Yeah, go ahead.
The soundtrack's great. I mean, no, you go ahead. This is your moment. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, but what do you like about The Big Chill?
I like the sort of coy references to cocaine. Like they let you know it's cocaine, but they don't know if they really say the word cocaine. There's like one time there's a big white brick.
They say the word one time. Yeah, but because Glenn Close can't go to bed at night and Clement Klein wants to go to sleep. That's the only time it's said. So
no, I like it. I like it because for one, it's like you get to see a lot of really good actors early in their career in an ensemble piece, which that's fun in and of itself.
Stupid cast.
Yeah, just ridiculous. And also, I just like the feel of the movie. It's just a nice little, like a hangout visit with some friends kind of movie. It's just got a good homey feel. You got to support our hometown boy, Larry Kasdan, U of M graduate.
Yeah, it's got U of M in it. It's fun. They watch a football game in Michigan. I like that too.
Kevin Kline wears a Michigan shirt.
Yeah, he does.
And little shorts.
And they're in South Carolina. I used to live down there. So I just connected things with it. And I connected the fact that I'm in that pocket now. They're like late 30s, 40 in that movie. So it makes a little more sense.
Yeah. I do. If I could slip in one more doc, Amid the Logic, Richard Pryor doc is on I think Showtime. There's a lot of Richard Pryor docs out there. This is the best one I've seen. It's called Amid the Logic. It's really well made.
Okay, I'll check that out. I love him so much.
I'll write that down.
I don't have Showtime though.
I can hook you up. I think I can help you with that.
All right.
Okay. Oh yeah, and I finally watched the Dolomite movie that Eddie Murphy did last year.
Oh yeah,
fucking hilarious.
It's good.
It was fun.
All right, good. All right.
What's this face, Aaron?
I thought it was fucking hilarious. I was laughing out loud the entire time.
It's very.
Wesley Snipes is hilarious in that.
Wesley Snipes is great playing D'Urville Martin. He does a great job.
Better or worse than Simon Phoenix?
Nothing touches Simon Phoenix, to be honest, dude. Nothing.
Oh, that's not fair.
Nothing.
That's
not
fair.
even Bob.
Look at the episode we're doing. Come on.
We're about to get to Demolition Man here, but yes.
Can't wait.
It's funny. It's funny, and my point was that sometimes you have to be alive and you have like more of a attachment. Like Dolomite was a 70s thing, and I feel like if I had lived it more, because like if you get to see a lot of the stuff like redone from the first Dolomite movie and stuff, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. And I'd never really seen it. I hadn't. So I didn't have as much of a connection with the material. I admit that freely. But it was funny, and Eddie Murphy and everybody did a great job. Craig Robinson, Mike Epps, everybody. It's a solid film. It's solid. And it's a tribute to his brother who died, Charlie. So that's nice.
Peace.
Yeah, it meant a lot. Obviously meant a lot to them. So I like that. All right. Anyways, check that out if you will, if you didn't watch it already. And this is Cinema iPod. We are getting ready to settle in. Demolition Man, 1993. Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, Armor hot dogs. I mean, there's just a lot of food in this movie.
Like, if you know Mike Govier, then you know that him just saying Taco Bell and Pizza Hut randomly, like, generally, it just happens. It means nothing. Like, it's apropos and nothing. But for once, him saying Taco Bell and Pizza Hut, it actually applies to the conversation we're going to have. And the movie. And this is your moment, Mike Govier.
This is it. This is it. It's all downhill from here. But yes, Demolition Man, 1993, starring Sylvester Stallone at his height of his powers. Actually, he kind of goes downhill after this, but we'll talk about that more later. Wesley Snipes, who's outstanding with the blonde hair, and this is a fun film. So we're going to talk about Demolition Man from all angles. If you have watched the film, you can comment over here. If you're watching live, if you're listening to the podcast, send in an email, cinema9pod@protonmail.com. And of course, follow the show. If you haven't done that yet, follow us. We would love to connect with you on any social media platform. And last but not least, 5-star rating on Apple Podcast if you want to. You don't have to. I mean, it's not a big deal. We always ask, right?
If you want to, you got the time.
No pressure. Yeah, easy going. All right, so
on vacation right now, you could do it.
Let's go. You could be, yeah, or you could be at home for 8 months or 9 months. All right, so let's go back in time. 27 years, 1993. Travis Roy, you're right. You're right into the zone here. You're probably hitting puberty. And you're looking around. You were a happy guy, happy-go-lucky. Lollipops and sunshine and. Tell us.
Pretty. Now that you're bringing all that up, like, it was a fairly bleak period of my life. But
I know. Well, I'm glad you got through it.
But this was a bright and shining moment in that year. I watched Time Cop last week, which I had not seen since I was a kid, and it paired kind of well with this one in a way, and also because it reminded me, watching both these movies reminded me that, like, I don't know what the deal was at my dad's house, where I'm actually living at right now still. But he, the statute of limitations must be up on this, but I'm guessing that he had some sort of rigged connection through a friend, because we had like pay-per-view for free. And there was just like Time Cop and like Demolition Man and are two of the movies I remember being on pay-per-view. And like, so it's like a lot of people had HBO and stuff. I didn't have HBO. We just had like the pay-per-view movies, but the channels, but they were free. So I just watched both those movies like over and over and over again. And when they came out, I remember like, I didn't own them, but like I exhausted Demolition Man when it came out.
Wow. I remember that. Yeah. If you got a movie on pay-per-view, you could just watch it over and over again for like a period of time. And then they would cut it off, depending on where you got it.
Unless you illegally rigged it and just
right,
free access all the time.
I mean, I never saw Time Cop, by the way, and Chad Gibbons.
It's actually pretty good.
Time Cop's not very good. But how about you, Eric?
I cannot think. I'm sorry, but real quick, I cannot think of Joel Silver, the producer of Demolition Man, without thinking of Ron Silver in Time Cop. Like specifically Ron Silver in Time Cop. My whole life, I've always I hear one, I think the other.
I don't know what Joe Silver looks like. I assumed he looks like Ron Silver because that's all I got to go on.
He looks like Ron Silver in Time Cop. That's what he looks like.
Eric Branstrom, 1993. We know that you got a little bit of a late start on certain films. Were you able to watch this back in 93 or did it come around later?
You know what? I saw it in Brighton Cinema in the theater. And this is just one, like every time I'd go to the video store, I was actually really into action movies like in the early 90s. I was like exclusively like action movie, Last Action Hero. I was a big Hard Target fan with Jean-Claude Van Damme. I'd be interested in taking another look at that because it's
what about John Woo.
And I remember that being really good. Marked for Death, Out for Justice, Under Siege, bring them on. Dude. They're probably all pretty good movies. But every fucking single time I went to the video store and saw that cover box, Stallone, Snipes are facing each other down, I had to rent it. When I was, 12, 13, rented it multiple times. Okay. Just over and over again. I'd sit there and watch it. So it's been 20 years. And like I said, this was a little out of bounds choice for me, but I thought we could have a little bit of fun with it. God damn, am I glad we picked it.
This is your call, buddy.
Yeah.
Take the credit.
I did.
Yeah. Beautiful choice. I can't remember. I don't think I saw this in theater. And I think kind of like Travis, hit HBO or whatever, because we always had HBO. We never had Cinemax or anything else, but we always had HBO for some reason. And my mom had HBO in like 87 or something. She always had HBO, even if she was poor. It's weird. So HBO, this movie hits it. Parties, it's just nonstop. We watch all the time. My brothers would be like fighting it out, but doing karate shit, and I saw this movie so many times. We quoted it so often. Boy, so many quotes from this film, but that's how I remember it. And
it comes out at like such a sweet spot of a time. October '93, it's in theaters. We're in 8th grade in the fall. And I mean, we're just ready for this kind of stuff. It's blending the stuff that we like silly comedy, fun action with like smart stuff and like, good tech, good special effects. It's this weird amalgam. Hits on all cylinders for me back then, but did it a few days ago? We'll see.
Oh, bye. I didn't look up the IMDb score. We always check the scores on this show.
I'm looking at it right now by pure coincidence.
Not
coincidence, but I wanted to relook up the name of the director because I want to talk about Marco Brambilla or Marco Brambilla. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, Marco Brambilla. I love his work.
Is that a pseudonym?
I want to talk about him.
Is he a real guy?
His, you guys want to guess? Here, I'll play the mic roll. Go ahead and guess. What's the IMDb score?
I feel like this is. It can't be too beloved, but it's going to be right around it could be just under 7. I'm going to say a 7.1.
Oh,
right. Eric?
I'll say just under 7. I'll say maybe 6.8.
Eric, you win. It was 6.7.
Bob Saget.
I'm going to rank it right now, but I'm not telling you guys what I'm ranking.
That would be a spoiler. That's good. We appreciate that. All right, it's the Cinema Night Podcast. We're talking Demolition Man, and of course, on IMDb, we give you the score, 6.7. That's 157,000 ratings. That's not bad. But then, what about Rotten Tomatoes? Now, this is 60% critic score. Just over the fresh count. Well, where is the cutoff on fresh? Is it less than 50 or 55?
I think it's less than 60.
Idea.
Isn't it less than 60?
This is right on the brink.
I'm not sure.
60% critics. So 66% audience. Surprises me.
Well, critics in '93, critics were not nice to Sly no matter what he fucking put out. He's coming off Oscar. He's coming off Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. I think they dogged it before they even saw the
Oscar was good.
Judge Dredd too, and I didn't like Judge Dredd.
Yeah, 95, but yeah, I don't know. They weren't that happy. And this is a really talented, intelligent man too, but I don't think they were happy with him in '93.
Okay. Well, I'm surprised the audience score is so low though, because what do I know? Well, maybe I'll learn more from you guys as we go forward. No, All right, well, let's start with James Bernardinelli. Let's
start with George Bernard Shaw.
George Bernard Shaw said about Demolition Man. In the end, that's all this film is. Flames, flying bullets, and special effects. It could be worse, I suppose, but as long as people go into this film with their eyes open, there shouldn't be any surprises. 1.5 stars out of 4. Harsh.
Did they think it was going to be like a people are going to go and think it's like an Ivory Merchant production? Like,
an
Ivory production. Thank you. Like I think they know what they're walking into, but all right.
Go to McDonald's, you're not going to get fine French cuisine.
Well, Peter Travers said Demolition Man is sleek and empty, as well as brutal and pointless. He's all over the map here.
Peter.
Yeah, what the hell?
It feels
computer. It feels computer engineered. This is when they used to say computer engineered, apparently. Yeah. Untouched by human hands. A real pod movie. Huh.
What?
State-of-the-art review from Peter Travers.
What does
that anyone like this movie?
What's a pod movie?
A pod movie. Like pod people?
Yeah, like you're just in a pod zoning out or something. I don't know. It's weird. How about a positive review from the New York Times? Vincent Canby.
Wow.
Demolition Man is a significant artifact of our time, or at least of this week. Booyah! There's no booyah in there, but I threw that in. There's no Desson Thompson, guys. I'm sorry. He's not available. And there's no, for some reason, I can't find Roger Ebert. So minimal reviews on this page. Doesn't mean that's how it is. Last one. This is from Newsweek. Demolition Man is a movie that should have been fun and isn't.
That's it.
Yeah, so there you go. This is what people were saying back in the day.
Yeah,
so,
I'm not surprised.
Where do we begin? I mean, we've got product placement galore. We've got some of the finest action stars in the business at the top of their game.
Let's start at the beginning. Let's start with the fact that this movie filmed and released in 1993, and then they set it at the beginning in 1996, and it's just hell. Like 3 years in the future. Like, hey, it's the future. Must be the apocalypse. Must be fucking hell.
If that
right?
doesn't hit you right away, then I can't. You're not paying attention because I felt the exact same way.
When were the LA riots? Was that like?
Well, that's
92.
Yeah. Did they just continued?
Yeah,
okay.
That's I mean, like they even got like the LA, like we can't handle that kind of violence. Rob Schneider later, like we can't handle that level of violence. We're the LAPD. There's like all kinds of like little plugins to like the LAPD and like cops and all that stuff and the riots. It's very much present in this movie.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. But yeah, that's
I agree. Sorry,
go ahead.
It's
well, completely ridiculous. You're right.
Yeah, I agree with the last assessment that I do feel like this movie is very much a relic of its time. Like it feels very mid late 1993.
That's funny because I think it was like prescient in so many ways, which is scary.
No, absolutely. It's very, very prescient, but at the same, like it can
still be
forward.
A relic, yeah.
Right? But at the same time, it speaks very much for. That's partly why the prophetic nature to it, and it's like is somewhat surprising because it does feel very grounded in the 90s, which it's jarring every time something happens where you're like, oh, they're dead on. That's what we're doing these days.
Yes, I mean I can't even hold it back for this long on the show, but the high fives and not touching each other, and we're in COVID.
Oh
God. Who didn't think of that?
The one guy walks away going, "Ugh, germs," when he actually touches his hand.
First there was AIDS, then there was SR. Yes, she starts naming all these diseases, and then it was just over. There's no more sex.
And then what the sex that does happen is digital. It's like with the Oculus Rift, it's like everything is like virtual, and the internet had existed in '93, of course, but I mean it was like barely around. Like it was
Netscape
like,
chat rooms,
right? Like that stuff was not even hardly around. So like it was very much looking forward.
I mean, I love this opening still. I think some of the best material in this film is that, like, just that first fun chunk, like that first 10 minutes. That first shot of the Hollywood sign on fire is fucking really good, and it's like one of the best examples of like world building you'll find in a movie. It sets up his characters, the stakes. You've got like what cop has an arch nemesis? It's just funny and dumb at the same time, but super entertaining.
That's how it was in the 90s, even the 80s. You got Die Hard, you got Bruce Willis. He's got to go head to head. It's just that's how it always is. But I actually had a problem with the opening because I feel like this is a fucking police department, and they can't do any forensics work to find out that these bodies were already dead. Like they didn't know if the body was burned alive or if they was shot to death or burnt. Come on,
that was immediately when you. Yeah, that was immediately when you got to like set the pen down, right? Because because from the get go, I'm like, wait, why is he in trouble? What did he do? Like,
they immediately believe the bad guy.
Yeah, exactly. Real quick, I do want to say how cool it is that they took an actual building that was going to be demolished and like blew it up.
Yeah, and it looks really good.
It looks amazing. They're like fighting amongst the rubble and stuff. That was so cool.
We're talking practical effects. That was badass.
Yeah, that was really cool.
But they're holding him. Yeah, you're done. You better get a lawyer right now. We haven't even gone to the police station yet.
And
it wasn't me this time.
It moves at such a clip, man, that by the time the frozen and carbonite moment comes, it's only at the associate producer in the credits. Like it hasn't even gotten. Like,
I love it. That's the 90s for you, man. They jump right into it. I mean, no bloat.
I think they're hauling ass to the credit scene. I think you're right. Like, we got to get to this cryostasis immediately. How quick can we do this?
Yeah, we did the hook. Quick, let's get these fucking credits out.
And I think we get to see Sly Stallone's dong for the first time since his porno in the
There
70s.
are more taints in this movie than in some of the superior pornography I've seen. There's like 10 taint shots and like many male ball sack shots. It's ridiculous. I never noticed.
Wonderful.
About time.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
What kind of pornography are you watching?
really messed up stuff.
Makes it so superior that just puts a men's taints. I mean, that's cool if that's what you're into. I just feel like you're making like a real value judgment here in the rest of us.
Let's just say I wore my pause button out in '93.
Oh, okay. Well,
all right.
Sandra Bullock, by the way, we haven't even mentioned her name yet. She plays a key role as the cop who's obsessed with the 90s. So after things get bogus and they go forward in time to 2032, all of a sudden, you got, by the way, God, there's so many things about this movie, but this warden who runs the cryo prison.
Yeah, Smithers.
So Smithers is on the phone or FaceTime, really. That's cool. FaceTime. He's FaceTiming with Sandra Bullock, and they're having this lovely conversation. Nothing ever happens here. And then when they bring Simon Phoenix up for the probationer, like the parole hearing, suddenly Smithers turns into this psycho, like, you fuck, let's shut up. You will shut up. It's like, wait, you were just being like, be well, have a great day.
But he remembers him.
He remembers what it used to be
one
like.
of the first. Yeah, he was one of the first guys that he would have frozen back when he was the deputy warden.
Yeah.
That was because it's the same warden.
That.
Yeah, it's the same guy.
Yeah, and the older you are, you gotta think that the older people, like his Sly's buddy, like the older dude, they gotta. They're not just gonna completely, dissolve their old persona. There's a little bit of that still left in them. That's what I think is cool about it.
Okay. I didn't think about that. See, this is why we do the show, guys. I hadn't considered that he had been the warden for so long, but I just thought it was funny. He was being such a dick. If you take that out of context, it's pretty funny. Anyways, so you have Sandra Bullock as Lena Huxley and Benjamin Bratt's her partner. He's very innocent, guys. He's so innocent. He's a sweet man. Yeah, he's nice. And then you got Dennis Leary as Edgar Friendly.
You do.
This is 1993 MTV Dennis Leary. Rapid. I gotta smoke a butt. I gotta do a nuclear bomb. I drop Brian John Wayne's fucking head. This is
Bill Hicks stole your career.
Exactly.
Do you think Bill Hicks wrote that original speech? And
I hope did he die right after it came out or not? Because he died the same year. So
Dennis Leary is a good friend of Greg Dooley, so I'm not going to rip into him too hard.
Here we go.
Greg Dooley. No, he's the weakest part of he's the weakest actor in the movie. Literally, he pulls you out of the movie more than anybody else.
He really does.
Especially when
he keeps you in the 90s, is what you're saying, right?
But he again, because this was one of his first roles, like one of his first big roles, and at the time, he had to do the shtick the same way Lewis Black has to do his shtick when he first comes in. Zach Galifianakis has to do his shtick when he finally gets a movie. Like he had to do his shtick. Like, I got to do it's a commercial break for MTV real quick, so I have to rattle off a bunch of shit and sound like Dennis Miller on speed.
Yeah, it's cringeworthy.
Yeah, it sucks that Bill Hicks lived long enough to see this film come out, so he must have been really pissed off. It's unfortunate. I'm sorry, Bill. Not cool.
We love you, Bill, wherever you are.
We do. And then I'm so glad you posted the picture of the rat burger. That's my favorite. That'd be my favorite part of the whole movie. That I always, whenever I went to a barbecue or I was eating a burger, this is a rat burger. Rat burger.
So you take a bite into a burger, you find out that it's a rat burger.
Yes.
Are you like John Spartan? You keep eating. If you like it, I mean, it tastes good. And you're having a hard time getting a hold of meat generally. You've perhaps been frozen and, having a kind of a Rip Van Winkle thing going on.
Well, he ate at the Taco Bell. Maybe it wasn't very good. I'm sorry, the Pizza Hut. So there was this whole thing. Let's talk about it. The Pizza Hut and Taco Bell. It was Taco Bell originally. When I saw the movie at first.
Then you watched the European version.
Interesting.
Because
on HBO it was Taco Bell. I'm certain of that because that's what it was.
The American version. But in Europe, they're both owned by Yum Industries, right? So in Europe, Taco Bell does not do as well as it was just simply wasn't recognizable enough overseas. So Taco Bell was the first. Like they tried to get McDonald's, they tried to get Burger King, but Taco Bell was the first one to be like, yeah, we're on board. And so they shot it all and made it like that. And then when they went to go distribute overseas, they're like, wait, fuck, no one knows what Taco Bell is. So, here we are.
So I now have the European version. Interesting. Okay, cool. But I heard there was who cares? It doesn't matter. Anyways, yeah. So all Taco Bells, all restaurants are T-Bell or Pizza Hut or whatever the fuck you're watching, and
Taco Bell,
it's all
Pizza
run
Hut.
by exactly. It's all run by Cocteau, Nigel Hawthorne. That's right,
Nigel Hawthorne. What are you doing in this movie, dude?
Isn't that bizarre?
He must have needed a new house. Something was going on. He got sued.
He looks like he's not trying. I mean, he's acting, but you could see it in his eyes. Am I here? Am I here?
It was a huge mistake for Nigel Hawthorne. He had egg on his face because he took the movie to try to convince a studio that he could star in The Madness of King George. They were already looking at him anyway for the part. And he took this dumbass role, and it was not worth it. But
it was just nothing like The Madness of King George.
Yeah. He's got a little bit of a presence, though. I like Dr. Cocteau. One of my favorite scenes is when Simon Phoenix says to him, we got the right to be assholes. Even good old Simon Phoenix has kind of a fucking point in this false utopia.
Eric Branstrom, you're fined 1 credit for violation of the morality code.
Hey, do you think that John Spartan fucked up the plumbing when he used all of those violations for the
Yes, I believe
How
he
the
probably
fuck do you
did.
use the 3 seashells? Does anyone have the answer?
No, I don't know.
I
But here,
still
how
don't
about,
get it.
a better point is that since we don't know, and John Spartan never finds out, to the point that like the movie literally ends with him like kissing the girl, saving the day, and him going, yeah, and also how do you wipe my ass after I shit, and roll credits.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of hoping he'd be like, oh, one last question. Where's my daughter? I want to tell her I love her, but no.
Yeah. They just dismissed that. They just
completely dismissed.
Forget being over the daughter. It's like, my wife's dead. Want a bone?
Yep, wants to fuck her immediately.
Miss my wife. I'm over it.
Burritos, have sex. My dead wife and daughter, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, his daughter's out there, and it's like they could have just cut that. Like they cut the subplot from the movie, like the daughter subplot. But like, why not cut all the stuff about the daughter?
Every
so
line.
So that we don't wonder why does he not give a shit about his daughter?
Your own offspring.
Well, they're trying to. Okay, so they're trying to like make a commentary about what would it be like if you were in the future. Would you want to know or not know? But it just doesn't fit the movie. That's what I can see what they're trying to do, and it's like no, just have her die in the earthquake in the big one like your wife did in 2010, which by the way was 10 years ago in our real lifetime. It just blows my mind. It's weird when they're talking about the past in this film. So yeah, so they should have just cut it completely. I agree. We're talking about Demolition Man. That's what this is all about. We are knee deep in it, and the funniest bit ever is the morality code. It's the one that I probably just exhausted people when I was a teenager with it. It's the kind of shit I could do. I could make my dad laugh, and he'd be like, "Oh, that's funny," like that kind of shit. And but it got tiresome pretty quick, But it was funny. You
don't
John
say.
Button, you were fine. I just loved it. I loved it. It never got old to me. And it still doesn't get old. I laughed the first time it happened. I was like, "Oh shit, I forgot." It's a great joke, and and they never bail on it either. Even when there's like the serious argument with Simon Phoenix and Cocteau in that meeting room, it's way in the background, but it's going on.
Unless you're outside. If you're outside, it doesn't work anymore. You're good.
Yeah, it's like they're not like nearing. But the only time it happens outside is when Snipes is at the computer and he's like, he's doing the most ridiculous keyboarding. He's like, I know everything.
But that gets into one of the other major like prescient things, like predictive things of this movie is the lack of privacy, right? Like you can't say anything without them recording you. In fact, you can't have a person-to-person conversation with a friend without your boss actually monitoring your conversation and giving you shit about it when you get into work. And you're just like, oh yeah, he saw that, huh? And that's
such a great point.
No privacy.
I'm so glad you brought that up because that was literally like just a joke. Like, fuck, that'll never happen. But like, Lord knows, you like talk about a movie and like your social media sites are all like requesting you to like buy it on some fucking site. Like everybody's listening. It's no joke.
Yeah, the most prescient things are the lack of privacy, the disease thing. It just like freaks the hell out of you.
Suri is like asked stuff nonstop.
Yeah. The advisor to the cops when they first confront Simon Phoenix, I could see that happening.
They ask Suri how to apprehend the subject.
and maybe we need that, with police reform and shit. It might not be a bad thing. Maybe it could be a little more productive than that one, but
But this movie is, it's kind of like, it's kind of Liberal Pussies Ruined America, the movie, right? Like this is like in the future, the liberals are gonna make everything so soft and pussified that they won't be able to handle a real criminal that doesn't pay attention to the laws, which that doesn't affect them. That has nothing to do with the election or anything else going on. No, certainly. I can't make any connections there. But
I never saw it through that lens at all. I really didn't.
The writer says like he wasn't trying to do that. The writer, who by the way like wrote part of it while standing in line, apparently, like he wrote it like on note cards and shit. He really shit this thing out really fast. But he wasn't really trying to go for like a political message. But that is kind of the message, I think, of the movie, that like in the thing, if you're too nice, eventually you will be confronted with someone who is so evil that you just cannot respond to it. And there's like and it shows that over and over again. Simon Phoenix is just murdering people like they're dodos, being approached by Europeans for the first time and like have no idea what the fuck what is even going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Eric, did you see any of that in the movie?
One of the weirdest parts about it is that like this is one of many like false utopia movies. It reminds me a lot of like Minority Report, which tries to do like the same thing like in a serious way, but like there's a lot of parallels too. But anything not good is illegal here: meat, smoking, alcohol, caffeine, contact sports, chocolate, gasoline, pregnancy. So what is good
Look at
for
this guy
you?
reeling
Like,
it off word for word.
it doesn't really tell you like what in this world is good for you, or what makes you happy, or why are all these people happy just because they're safe and alive.
And another question is like Cocteau is like right there in what do they call it? San Angeles. He's
San
right there.
Angeles.
Like, yeah, he's like a constant presence. If you're in DC or New York or Baltimore, like does anyone give a shit about these kinds of rules? Like this
that part of the world doesn't exist.
No, but like it's very LA centric movie.
That's the thing. I mean, like, is this society in Peoria, Illinois, or is it just Los Angeles? If you don't like this, can you just go to fucking Peoria, Illinois, and like live life like it was in the 90s, or what?
Well, it reminds me of like the extreme version at the opposite end of like, what is it? Attack of New York, Attack of LA. What the fuck?
Escape from New York.
Escape. Thank you.
New York.
Right. But it's like the opposite end of the spectrum. Hey, this is all that exists right here, right now. And
so there's talk of actually bringing Marco Brambilla back to make his second feature film ever, because this was his first, for a sequel. Like I don't know how I feel about it, but like there's been a little bit of talk about it, and if they did explore outside of, like, if they got outside of San Angeles,
yeah,
I could actually see where there could be something of interest here. Because there is, like as Eric said, there's a lot of serious world building going on here. They could explore it, but I also fear that they brought in if they try to do a sequel now, for one, like, it never works after like 10 years or more. In my opinion, it's just sequels don't generally work. There's some exceptions, but and then also and also, like, I could just see him like, will they have the same sense of humor? I mean, like, will they try and make a message? Because like the movie makes, like, there's a message, but it's not trying to make a message. It's just trying to entertain you and be funny
and cheek,
right? And like, I feel like
it's
not like Black Mirror type.
No,
right.
It's not that dark and serious and like, whoa, holy fuck! I
don't feel like there's a lot of attention. I mean, I think there's all the stuff we're discussing, which John Spartan calls it, like, this kind of like violation of privacy. He calls it fascist. So there is like some comments being made. Don't get me wrong, but like, I think it's more like on these individual things, if that makes sense. Like, on case by case basis.
Well, but they all say we're all lost. We're all lost without Cocteau. What will we do now? Like, it makes them really seem clueless because they've been so pacified by all of these little things that they think are positive. By removing everything and giving them direction from every detail of their day, now they have no idea what to do when suddenly the main guy goes up in smoke.
Literally.
Seems unlikely. Corporations, you cut off the head and it just keeps on going. It's more of a Hydra type thing than anything else. So
Speaking of cutting off heads, that is some really gentle foreshadowing in the beginning of the movie.
Very gentle. I wonder how Simon will die eventually.
I wonder.
But I mean, I think all of these types of they try to like illustrate the futile effort of just obliterating like man's bestial nature to kill. I mean, it's like a H.G. Wells thing. It's a Philip Dick thing, but this has its own take on it, and it's before like we saw other movies that tried to do this before. I respect it for it. One thing about San Angeles in 32 is it's fucking diverse. I mean, it's not just all white people, and they have reasons for like all these billowy clothes and stuff. They talk about it affecting the ozone layer and stuff. So like the world's not that bad, even with these people underground, like that are trying to do their thing. When they do the graffiti and stuff, it's cleared up. Like it's like.
Yeah,
like they're getting food. Like why does he need to bring Simon Phoenix there, Dr. Katu? Like what?
Well, hang on. I feel like who's getting food? The people, the
people underground.
Yeah, they're getting rats, and they're stealing food because that's what they have to do to survive. Like, it's not. I don't think that's that great. And the fact that like they can try in their best to strike back in some small way by, like, say, having graffiti and like leaving their mark on society and having that immediately erased because it's arms race that takes place between in technology. I don't think any of that's that great.
It's not that great, but like it's handled by them already. So I'm trying to figure out why they have to bring Simon Phoenix there to like Like, what are they? What is Dr. Cocteau trying
I
to do?
misunderstood. Okay, I misunderstood.
Because he
what you're
doesn't.
saying.
Yeah, it's obvious. He doesn't trust. He wants a cutout Friendly. He thinks Friendly's the big Cocteau on the other side. So if he gets rid of Friendly, then everybody will just give up and die down in the basement.
Yeah, he doesn't want any threat at all to his authority whatsoever. And rather than
it's
killing
a
him,
bullshit reason. It's a bullshit reason to bring them together in time. Here we go. Let's have a party.
It's a premise. Whatever. The face gets cut off. It gets put on the other face. The voices change too magically, and then they fight. This is welcome to the movies.
Yeah, it's Associate Bob. He's going to work for everybody. He'll work for Simon Phoenix. He'll work for John Spartan. He'll work for the warden. He'll work for everybody. He loves everyone. Associate Bob.
I gotta say, I mean, the MDK scene, like the first one when they're all watching it, and it happens twice. It's genuinely pretty scary, if you ask me.
I agree. It's kind of chilling.
Yeah, I think they're fucking stupid though. That's what I don't like about this movie. Like if they got so advanced, they should have got a little bit smarter. The movie's not directly saying this, but they're getting dumber in a way because of an over-reliance on technology. Maybe the movie is trying to jump that in, screw that into the plot. Because like the scene where the chief says, all right, we'll just wait till he does another MDK and then we'll attack him.
Yeah.
Stallone's like,
everyone, even John Spartan. Oh, good point.
Oh, you mean the boss, Bald Gunton?
Yeah, Bald Gunton. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love it. I mean... All right, we're talking Demolition Man here in the Cinema 9 pod. We're going to be getting close very soon. Does this one hold up or not? I'm still not sure where everyone stands.
Hold up. We got to talk about
I said we're getting close.
We got to talk Simon Phoenix. Come on, man.
Of course we are.
A role he didn't really want to do.
Yeah, but he did his badass best to. This is his first, unless I'm crazy, I can't think of an action role that he really did. Because he did Jungle Fever. The Passenger 57 was the same year, so he filmed both of these like simultaneously. Yeah, this was like the breakout of that, I think. Of course, I could just look it up, but off the top of my head, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, when Money Train was like 96.
Money Train,
okay, so here's what he does. He does Jungle Fever, then he does White Man Can't Jump before this, which is awesome. That blows him up, and then he goes into this action phase, which is awesome. He is a badass action star.
Great. It's a black belt.
Yes, he shows it. Well, I watched Dolomite is my name. Eric, you saw it. And watching that and then watching Demolition Man and seeing like, wow, this guy is fucking great martial artist.
You don't bat an eye when he's going toe to toe with Stallone. I mean, he's a fucking great martial artist. He's a real life black belt, and he's great, man. I've missed the shit out of him.
Yeah, and it's funny that he didn't want to do this role because it looks like he is just having the time of his life.
He's so fun, but he's also really fucking weird and creepy. Like, I'm seeing Joker parallels because he just relishes in murder and anarchy with no moral compass whatsoever. He's not exposing hypocrisy or any of that bullshit. He's just weird and evil and loves the shit out of it.
Could do without the blue eye contacts, kind of annoying, distracting. But
he hated his hair though. That's what I heard.
Yeah, he shaved it immediately. Yeah, it's funny. But so like I'm always interested in like an interrogating race when we do these things. Like, what is going on with this movie that you got? Like they're making this comment sort of about like it's post riots LA. They're basing the movie like in the future, and they're making these LA jokes, and they have like a black man like just running wild, paying like no attention to the law. The cops have no idea what to do with him, and he's blonde haired and blue eyed. What in the fuck, if anything? Maybe nothing, probably nothing, but like it seems like there's something going on with race here, but I can't really put my finger on what it is.
Yeah, there's something. How much credit should we give the screenwriters for that? They'll admit it. Oh yeah, we were totally thinking that.
I didn't think about race as much in this film. Usually it's something you always think about it.
No, I mean, I was on the lookout for black cops and a diverse cast in the police force and stuff, and it's very diverse.
Oh yeah, they're there.
And he wanted Jackie Chan to play the Simon Phoenix role.
That's funny.
What kind of movie would that have been? Less funny?
Not as good. Not nearly as good.
He makes
this movie rides pretty hard on, as Sandra Bullock says, the witticisms when the glib witticisms when John Spartan kills someone, and then the same thing with Simon Phoenix, which by the way you're really setting yourself up if you're saying Simon says all the time, and then you say something, and someone's gonna be like, well, you didn't say Simon says. So you're really setting yourself up for that one. But they both of them have like these great '90s quips going on throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, great quips.
The best
action is
has to
awesome.
be when Stallone literally throws a TV at him and says, "You're on TV." I fucking laughed.
I will say this. By the way, speaking of wanting someone else to play a role, Lori Petty was actually on film for a few days, and then they said, let's get her out of here. She did Tank Girl, which blew up, by the way.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I got a little tired of the action by the end scene. By the final battle, I was kind of tired. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I've had enough of this. It loses its luster for me. By the time we get to that final showdown and he does the thing with the head and he's trying to decryo, unfreeze everybody. I didn't care. I lost interest. I admit it freely.
As soon as they go underground, for me, it loses a little bit of steam because it doesn't. It's the world building for me. It doesn't have that much to say once they get under there, and it's time for it to just become the dumb action movie that it's been poking fun at previously in the runtime.
Plus, Jesse Ventura shows up,
and kind of underutilized, but he does kill a man. Nigel Hawthorne, throw him in flames.
That's right.
Yeah, I do think like this movie does go big dumb at the end the way you want it to, though. I mean, like ultimately, I want this movie to end with Sylvester Stallone, running away from flames, going, and then that's exactly what happens. So that's good.
I just didn't care about that. I'm more interested in like everything else going on in the film besides the action. I like some of it in the beginning, in the middle, but I want to hear the jokes and I want to hear the satire.
Yeah, you could have pushed it a little further. In fact, they make a point out of Simon Phoenix saying, "I don't want to get all the big badass mad dogs out of freezing." Like in Last Action Hero, that's Benedict's main goal. He's like, "Let's get fucking Hannibal Lecter and all these other badass motherfuckers and take over the world." Simon Phoenix says the opposite, but if he would have done so, we would have got like a Garland Green Con Air thing, and all these crazy motherfuckers would have got unthawed and went up against John Spartan. Could have been more interesting.
There's so many comparisons to make in this movie too to Last Action Hero, which I hope we investigate on this show again.
I'm sure we will.
I'm sure we will too.
So
I know
you
and I are both fans. Yeah, I think that this movie goes big and dumb, and yeah, it does kind of get a little lurching towards the end. I'll grant you that, but I mean, it's got to end somehow. What are they gonna do? Like pivot, and all of a sudden he cares about his daughter, and they wrap it up with like some heartfelt scene?
Who knows? What if they had some revelation? Why does he have to kill Simon Phoenix? Maybe Simon Phoenix goes back in the fridge.
Yeah, he won't be in the sequel, unfortunately.
Oh man!
If that actually happens.
If it's a comic book, there's always a way around it, right? So
how does Sub-Zero rehabilitation work exactly?
That's a great commentary. That's what I forgot about.
That's a good question. I mean, like, so I was going to raise that question too, but I also was like, I'm trying not to be as critical as I have traditionally been on the show.
That needs to be
on that. I
discussed.
feel like maybe he was overdoing it. I don't know if there was any particular episode that made me suddenly feel that way, but I do, and I don't know where I was going.
Revelation, folks.
Yeah, I got lost in my own revelation there, I guess. But
the knitting. You want to talk about knitting?
Oh yeah, I was worrying about that too for a minute, but ultimately I just let it go. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're putting someone in cryostasis for 27 years or however long it is that I forget now, from 93 to 32,
96. Don't forget, it's 3 years of hell.
That's right, 96. That's right, 96 to 32.
26 years later. Dun, dun, dun.
Why are you only implanting the need, the desire and knowledge to wouldn't you do like maybe some I don't know, put some Kierkegaard and some Kant in there?
Yeah, absolutely.
See, this is what happens. See, you open that area, and now this is what's going to happen because if there's limitless possibilities, if Simon Phoenix was given everything, every detail, every code, he learned every language. He's doing, he's speaking Spanish, and he could do anything. You're right. This opens a Pandora's box. It's like, why do we even want to go down this hole? Why did you bring it up in the first place, screenwriters? You needed a plot point.
Make Simon Phoenix even smarter when someone else finally has to deal with him. It makes no sense to me.
I think it makes sense as our friend Chad chimes in. It gives prisoners some sort of skill to come out with to make something of themselves, which I suppose that's kind of what prison's supposed to do now too. But you need more than a skill. You need empathy. Like rehabilitation.
That's
in
what
my
rehab's
limited,
about.
in my limited understanding, it's not a skill. Keeping your hands busy. It's not the Victorian era where our only concern is keeping the people from having idle hands. We need to actually like train people in empathy and that kind of stuff. And maybe they weren't thinking about that in '93. I don't know, but
you don't want it to be like Blow. I went to crime school in prison. You want it to be a game changer. Yeah, right. I agree. And it's not what it was. So they opened that up, and it's rife for criticism. Everyone understands it. So be it. And then I just don't know if this movie holds up as I start to think about it. It's funny. The cast is outstanding. The cast is great. I mean, every bit part is covered. The jokes are good, but it just gets tired after a while. And Sylvester Stallone, I'm just not a big. This could be a Sylvester Stallone issue. I'm just not loving him.
Well, Christ.
That much. I just kept thinking about his fucking ego throughout this whole movie, and it got in my head, and I couldn't let it go. I
don't really know him personally. Like, what are we talking about?
I don't know. What could we be talking about?
Like
a guy, a roid rage, a guy spent his life keeping himself in roided out shape when he's 70 years old. I'm sure he doesn't have an ego.
He's got a lot of good plastic surgery. He looks healthy. He looks good.
This is prime Stallone too. I think he has a couple more good ones in him. I like Daylight. I think that's pretty good. But for me, Mike, you're right. This is a terrific writer, a very intelligent man, but he can be right. He can be downright dull for me in a lot of movies. This one included. I mean, I think if you get someone else in there as John Spartan, you have a more interesting lead character, even though he can kick ass and knit a damn fine sweater. But the fact is, he's just a dumb brute throughout the entire movie.
But he's supposed to be playing a dumb brute. They call him a caveman and Neanderthal.
I know, but like, you want your protagonist to be a dumb brute?
Yeah, but they also misunderstand him because he's from the past too, so they're going to say that.
That puzzles me anyways, because it's like half these people, like, they remember him. Like, it hasn't been that long. What do you call him a caveman for? But he is supposed to be a dumb brute. I don't know. I'm not the world's biggest Sylvester Stallone fan by any means. I don't think he's a particularly good actor. If I had to pick a favorite Sylvester Stallone movie, though, I'd probably say Demolition Man.
Wow, interesting. I liked his rebirth in Creed with the kind of trying to pick that up. I thought it was good because he was being honest and he could play these smaller roles where he's not trying to be I never saw any of the Expendables. I just don't give a shit. Yeah, it's not for me.
Copland's not a very good movie, but he
has
a tender performance in it, but the movie is just not that good.
I've never seen any of the Expendables. I haven't seen the Rockies. I've seen a couple of them. I've seen none of the Rambos. Like, this is the kind of Stallone fan that I am. I could just give a fuck. I don't
First
care.
Blood is fucking awesome. He's great in it. But
maybe I don't know. It just doesn't. I'd rather. Now Oscar again. I've seen Oscar a couple times. Not a bad film.
Rhinestone.
What about Over the Top?
I love Lincoln Hawk. You kidding me? I love it.
There
we go. Everyone's
pretty good.
Do you guys think that the virtual sex they have is better than real sex, or
no? Clearly not.
It's the time of COVID. When's the last time I had real sex?
No one knows. If he was a dumb brute like Travis says he is, then he would have loved it regardless. Because this guy would have just fucked anything, even if it was digital sex. He threw it off.
Yeah, he was done with it, man. It's not for him.
He couldn't.
He wants real interpersonal contact.
Again, it's been like maybe 48 hours since he learned his wife's dead, and she's like, "Do you want to have sex with you?"
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the weird thing. That's kind of the weird thing too that you didn't see in like the mid '90s. She's the one that brings it up because she herself says she got kind of turned on by his testosterone fueled rage.
Yeah,
and that's
oh shit. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I just thought of something. I still won't forget it this time.
Okay. Just real quick. I mean, but that was another thing that kind of like fucking pussy liberal things again. Like the real men murder. Real men murder and eat meat. Don't you know that? They don't even eat rat. They don't give a fuck.
Red burger.
There's a red burger. What about Dan Cortez singing Valley of the Galley Green Giant at the Taco Bell?
I caught that.
in a crooner way.
Yeah,
I mean,
someone got fired.
What a cameo.
What
a fucking cameo.
I'm putting that on my list of best cameos. It really was.
Like, amazing.
Dan Cortez.
Yeah, that's something
Valley
else.
of the Garden.
Yeah, not only is it Dan Cortez of all people, for that to be what he's doing in the movie is so weird. It's so funny.
That's another reason, like, to your point about the 90s relic, with Dennis Leary and Dan Cortez being shoved in here in 93, these guys are both big like MTV faces. I feel like there's somebody from MTV like who worked there or was a liaison. Like, hey, I got Dan Cortez here today, and Dennis Leary's here. Wants to party.
Marco Brambilla, whatever the fuck he is.
Marco
Brambilla is a real guy.
I hope
past him.
I would.
Okay, so I've done a little research on Marco Brambilla.
Please, I swear this is a pseudonym. This guy can't exist. I can't find much of anything on him.
That's partly why I was so interested and dug around. So he came from commercials. He had done just like some commercials. He's a Canadian-Italian descent. I think he's got dual citizenship, and he was like pretty much a nobody. This was Joel Silver's baby because it was a script that was a first time script, a spec script by some nobody. So it was like and like Joel Silver was like, I'm going to spend all the money on the cast, so I'll get like a capable director from commercials, and obviously we'll play a screenplay or a screenwriter shit. And so like it went over budget, and like Silver had like speak up in his defense and blah blah blah. And Marco Brambilla or Brambilla, I don't know. He thought I thought that like maybe this, since whatever reason, like he just like left and like hated film, but like the dude has been working constantly for decades as a video artist. I watched some of his stuff. It's so weird. He's had art installations in like every major city in the world, and it's some
like
of it's
it's like experimental video, not like music videos.
Yeah, very experimental videos. Like I only watched one of them. It was called Civilization. I think I might post it on our page. It was really interesting. I mean, but like I wouldn't watch it over and over again. But like it's weird that like, okay, I made Demolition Man, and now I'm going to enter the world of art and live on grants, and that's what this dude's been doing.
He did Excess Baggage with the beautiful Alicia Silverstone.
He did.
Benicio del Toro, yeah.
Oh well, I somehow missed that. Yeah, he did Excess Baggage. You're right. He did do a couple other ones. I think I didn't think to look at his IMDb. I think I was looking at his Wikipedia. So he has. You're right. He did do.
But it's a competently made movie. Like I like the shots. It flows really well. I think he does a really good job.
I think he's got a really good eye. I mean, I think that the movie is pretty well composed. I think that a lot of the set design sucks. It really feels like it's shot in studios and stuff, especially when you get that big open beginning where it's like shot outdoors on the rubble and stuff like we were talking earlier, and then so much of the rest of the movie is shot on sound stages. But I felt like he did good work.
All right, couple of tidbits here. So apparently the 3 seashells works as like chopsticks where you pull the shit out and then you use the third one to wipe up with your scraper. This is according to Sylvester Stallone. I don't know how that works.
Wait, hang on. Chopsticks?
Yeah, that's what it says. You use it like 2 chopsticks where you pull out the shit.
You pull it out.
Yes. And then you use the third one to scrape your butt up.
It's an ironic, maybe an ironic twist, but I literally was researching the history of toilet paper before I even decided to make this our pick, because we were talking about the Revolutionary War and how back then they would use corn cobs to like wipe themselves with.
The husks, the leaves, the leaves, not the cobs, the leaves on the outside.
Thank you. But like, I literally wasted a fucking hour of my time. Yeah, but like, we're not the only country that uses toilet paper. Even to this day, people use certain types of things to scrape and do this and that. So it's not out of question. But
I never had a bidet. Also, this has been claimed by you guys read this? István Nemir, a Hungarian science fiction writer, who says that this was basically based on his book in 1980.
I saw that in the Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Says he wanted to sue, but he didn't have the money to do so. But it was approved by a committee to be over 75% based on his book.
Yeah, but also the plot of the movie is, like realistically, okay, so it's someone gets frozen, a cop gets frozen in time and has to break out a master criminal in the future, and things have changed. We're not really good with violence. Yeah. I mean, it's a cool plot, but like, I don't know that you had to steal it. You know what I mean? Yeah, like I could imagine coming up with that one on your own. Like, I mean, if the television could be invented independently, perhaps Demolition Man's super complicated plot could be as well.
Yeah.
Last one. This is great. I didn't know this. Adrian Barbeau, who's the computer voice in this movie,
yeah.
The voice of the computer in The Thing. How cool is that?
Oh, very cool.
I didn't know that. I love that. That's fun.
It's a fun fact.
A lot of fun. Okay, guys. I think we are cut the shit. It's time. I think we work Should we make Eric go first? You usually make the person who picks it go first.
Yeah, make him go first.
Yeah, you go first, Eric.
I'm glad I picked it. I had a lot of fun with it. And like I said, this was something I would watch over and over and over again when I was a kid. Marco Brambilla offers up a fun alternative to these brainless action trash films of the early 90s. It's smart. It's generally well-paced, shot pretty nicely, if you ask me, being for what it is. The script by Daniel Waters, who also did Heathers and Batman Returns, is fresh and funny. Like when they cut to that like clip of him like carrying the little girl out of the situation, and she's like, "Fuck you, lady! Like I'm worth more than the ransom money." It's funny. The acting's mostly good. Entertains as being just an action movie that pokes fun at dumb action movies until, like I said, it just kind of becomes a dumb action movie itself. Harmless fun, still very much one of a kind. Holds up, in my opinion.
Oh, there's multiple screenwriters. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
The one I was talking about must have been one that was the one that
every movie has like 30, but they always like 2.
Yeah, it was one of the ones. It was like one guy did it, and then this other guy came in and rehauled it.
Polish.
So it holds up. Is that what we're saying? Is that what you said?
That's what Eric said.
Yeah. All right.
You want to go? You want me to go?
Why don't you go? I always go next. Why don't I wrap things up for once?
Great. I don't care. I also am the one who always confused, so that it just makes more sense.
It's always fun to see where Michael will go.
This movie's funny. It's very funny. And kind of drags, though. But if that's a personal preference, it's not fair to the film necessarily.
Well, all of these is subjective, right? All of our reviews here.
Yeah. This opinion of what it means to hold up continues to evolve for every show for me. So who the hell knows what's happening? I said American History X holds up, and then I regretted it for 2 weeks. So I don't know. I mean, what do I know? I don't regret it anymore, though, because I remembered why I wanted it to hold up, and I didn't get to tell myself that. That's why I got to slow down. Demolition Man is funny.
Were you entertained?
I was entertained for more than 50% of the film. And
well, Mike, let me ask you this. You said last week that you just watched this a couple months ago.
Yeah, I did.
Did you watch it again in preparation for this episode?
I absolutely did.
So you weren't like, fuck, I got to watch it. I just watched it. You were not abject to sitting down and taking another look.
He's got a point there.
Look, I didn't sit there and try and bend your will about Home for the Holidays. Let the fuck up and let the man walk through it on his own.
Give me this one. I need this for my life.
I need this. Oh, if he needs it, then who cares? We already know what Travis thinks of this. I think he gave us a spoiler earlier, but I could be wrong. Anyways, bottom line, he did say it was his favorite Sylvester Stallone movie, but that's not saying a lot because he's not a big fan. I like this movie. I think it's fun. It's a fun film. It's fun. It's got a lot to say, and I still think we could have talked about a lot of other areas of the commentary and the satire, even if you didn't think they didn't mean to do it or not. I don't think that matters. The bottom line is it exists, and I think in 2020, there's just too many things to me that it holds up. It holds up. It does.
All right, you said it holds up. That's why I made you go next, because I'm going to say that it holds up too, and I was afraid that if I didn't say that it held up, that you were going to say that it didn't hold up. But yeah, I'm going to say it holds up. I think it's a wackadoo and unique 90s action film when it came out, and if you expect it to be a wackadoo and unique 90s action film when you sit down and watch it now, then you're going to be pleased. It's entertaining. It's surprisingly thoughtful. It's not going to, you're not going to get the logo tattooed on you. I hope you're not going to like write a thesis on it. But I mean, actually, you probably could. I take that back.
In 2020,
you could do that.
Yeah, you absolutely could. But it's surprisingly cerebral for what it is. But at the same time, it's just a brain dead action film. So it works on many levels, and it's totally entertaining. Holds up.
I mean, there's some inconsistencies. Leona Huxley is obsessed with the 90s. She's got Lethal Weapon.
Dude, we just covered everything. Yeah.
Doesn't understand that a car, like a pedal, works the gas on a car. Come on.
You got it, dude. You got your
take your win, you bitter fuck.
I needed that jab.
All right, there it is. Cinema 9 Pod. We did it. Demolition Man 1993 holds up according to these three bozos. Hey, what do we know? Why don't you tell us? Facebook, check us out. We got our page. You can comment and be like, hey, I watched your video and it was fucking dumb. Or you could be like, guys, you guys have some reasonable things to say. Thank you so much. We'd love to hear from you. Either way, cinema9pod at protonmail.com. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're everywhere. We're everywhere. It's annoing. It's so annoying. And
send us an email. Did the rat burger look good? Would you eat it? Edgar Friendly Speech. Did he steal it from Bill Hicks?
And also, we'll be, Mike will be picking his choice here for next week. But we've got a couple weeks. You can start sending in those listener choice picks now, because after Mike's pick, the week after that, it'll be listener's choice. So go ahead and start sending those in. Eric's favorite time of the year.
By the way, I just learned today that we just added another person to our guest list. He loves the pod, and he really wants to be on the show. And he has a movie he definitely wants to talk about, so we can't take it. So I'll confer with you guys on this off air. But he's really excited. He loves the show, too. All right, so no, but he loves the show, so that's what matters. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to make my choice. I said, 3 weeks ago at least, that I already knew what I was going to pick. So this is
good.
I know
what it is too.
Don't give us a hemming and hawing like where you're making up your mind in this moment.
We know, Michael. We know.
No, you don't. No one will guess this. Take a couple guesses, please. Come on.
It's clearly
autofocus.
It's not Narc. What did he say?
Oh,
what did Trevor say?
I said autofocus.
Autofocus.
Oh, I like both those movies a lot, but no. And they're both from 2002, which is odd.
Weird.
It is odd.
Carpy.
That is odd. No, they're not. Although this film is crass and there is sex involved, so autofocus would somewhat be apropos to this one. I'm taking it back to the year 19. We're going to the 90s. I hate we're going to the 90s, but you can't help it.
Who are we kidding?
1998, our senior year.
Oh, here it is. We're finally doing it. I'm glad I didn't watch this recently because I've been wanting to watch it.
I almost just saw it. Yep.
The time has finally come.
You guys, you think you know what it is? No, I wish. That's 99.
Ice White Shut is 99.
You gotta do it. It's so fucking good. Anyway, Michael. Such an awesome movie. Sorry, Mike.
We are doing Neil LaBoots.
Oh,
your friends and neighbors, guy.
Oh, your friends and neighbors.
Remember this one?
I thought you were going to say In the Company of Men. Your friends and neighbors.
Ben Stiller, Catherine Keener.
Man, I've not seen it since it was new.
Huge cast.
All right. Yeah, I think it's a good call. Let's see how it. I liked it at the time. I thought Neil LaBute was going to be. I thought he was going to be a lot bigger than he ended up being, especially after the two movies we just mentioned.
Yeah.
Didn't he do Object of My Affection too? Or not Object of My Affection. What's The Shape of Things? Did he do The Shape of Things with Paul Rudd?
I have to double check that, but either way, I know Company of Men and I know this one, and I mean it's a huge cast, man. It's crazy. Yeah. It's
interesting.
Jason Patrick. And and Amy Brenneman. So check it out.
Of course.
I don't know if you guys have problems finding this. Let me know. This could be. I didn't want to be too deep, but I don't know. Let me know. I don't know. This could be an issue because this movie is like
all white cast.
Yeah. Shit.
If we're doing a 90s indie movie, like
90s white intellectuals, Mike Govia.
And by the way, in 200 Cigarettes, which I mentioned a couple weeks ago. There's like how many people in that movie? Like 30.
Like 30.
And like
one
black guy. One black guy.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle. He's the taxi cab driver too. He doesn't even get he doesn't get to like live life. It's so dumb. So dumb. Anyways, I'm really curious about this one. I know this is. I was gonna go a more popular route, but I'm going a little deeper here. So let's see what happens. Your friends and neighbors. Let me know what you think.
Interesting choice. It's no Demolition Man, but it's an interesting choice.
Nothing can be. I mean, who could ever live up to the great Mario Brambilla? So, anyways, we're out of here. This is the end of the show. Thanks for watching. Demolition Man, hope you had a good time. This is a fun one. I think this will be one of our more popular episodes because this is a lot of people seem to know this movie, and it does have a lot of quotable moments. So thanks for listening.
Guys, I'm really sorry about that awkward sexual encounter. I knitted you a sweater to make up for it.
We'll see you next week.